Y'all know what time it is? It's the morning after. Sooners got the victory, baby. 59-20. Got us asking the question, where has this team been the last 3 weeks? Right. But we're still going to celebrate because it's a reason for us to be happy because there's a lot of nuggets that came out of this game that made me say, yeah, where was this team 3 weeks ago? And at the same time, I think we're back on track. At least it feels like it. We've got 2 games that are pretty big that I don't feel like should be terrifying now. We've got 11 a.m. kickoff against BYU, which is 10 o'clock Mountain time, which should be their time. I think they're Mountain right now. And so it'll be an early game in an atmosphere that's really cold. That should be a good thing. And then we have 11 a.m. on Friday against TCU here at the crib to wrap the season up. And that's in the middle of shopping and all of that jazz. So I think that's a good thing. So let's dive into my 22-piece nugget, offense, defense, my thoughts on the game. Before I dive into that and finish the intro, if you want to go to the side of the ball you want to, times are in the link description below. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thanks for pulling up to the channel. For the uninitiated, we do a morning after every single game for our Sooners. And we'll expand it once this season's over and I'm not fighting a head cold. So let's dive right into the 22-piece nugget that went down in this game. You know what? I'm feeling good because the side of the ball that showed up finally was the offense. I'm going to give offense love first. Then we'll dive into the defense. So let's ride. All right, first and foremost, Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel accounted for 473 yards of offense, 8 touchdowns. One thing that he did, he surpassed Colt Brennan, which is an idol of his because he played in Hawaii. I was raised on Colt Brennan at number 10 in the all-time passing yards list. Then he finished the game by setting an OU record of most touchdowns scored by one player in a game at 8, surpassing Baker Mayfield's 7, which he did against Texas Tech in that massive shootout when he played Patrick Mahomes. So that's kind of wild, right? That Dillon Gabriel walked out here, got us 470-something yards at the crib. The good thing is that we did this at the crib. We did this at home, right? We did this at the Palace. He sat in the throne like he's supposed to at the Palace. And I had a feeling that the bounce back would happen when we got home. So 2 straight road games. First is at home looking just sloppy against UCF. And then we go on the road, lose 2 games to teams that we shouldn't have lost to because both of those teams got their butts shellacked yesterday. And so Big 12 hopes are still there. But let's dive into what Dillon Gabriel did. Now, granted, Dillon missed out on a couple of touchdown passes. He had the Austin Stogner pass in the back of the end zone. But I do feel like DG thought that Stogner was going to stop. Because if Stogner stopped, that's touchdown. But Stogner kept going. I don't think he thought that he was going to keep moving. So they didn't figure it out. While at the same time, Dillon Gabriel probably just wanted to run in for a touchdown anyway, right? He likes to get those rushing numbers because on the season, he's sitting at 36 total touchdowns. 36! And we was not letting him chunk that thing the last couple of weeks. Anyway, 23 for 36. He had a good game. And because when Dillon Gabriel's on, this team is on. This is not too far off from teams of years past, where we need our quarterback to basically lead us. Whenever they let him do his thing, he did his thing. Run game wise, Nugget 3. Actually, keep it on Dillon. Shout out to my folks over there on Locked on Sooners podcast. They dropped a couple nuggets that I really liked. First off, of the 23 completions tonight that Dillon Gabriel had, 18 of them went for a first down or a touchdown. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means? If you let the man throw the ball in the intermediate game, the man's going to do good in the intermediate game. He cooks every time you give him the opportunity in the intermediate game. So I don't understand why we're not doing it, but guess what? It feels like there could be a change of the guards, a turn around the corner. I don't know. They let the man do it. So DG went out there and cooked. Gavin Sawchuk has now established himself as running back 1A. He's RB 1A. RB1B is still Tyree Walker. But Gavin Sawchuk is RB1A right now because he's the healthiest. Since Tyree's still coming off that ankle deal. Dude, 22 carries for 135 with a 30-yard run. Probably would have had a touchdown. But one of the problems I did recognize is that we struggle on short yardage runs for some reason. But we don't struggle on the first down, second down, just running it down the throat, go and cutting. Sawchuk has gotten comfortable with the pause and the shift and slide to the left and right. That hammy must feel good now because he's getting comfortable. He's stopping, he's cutting, waiting for the hole, and he's flying right through it. That's what we've been needing all season. We knew that Gavin Sawchuk could do it. Now he's doing it. So add him with Tyree Walker and just pound it. Because Tyree, when you give him the ball and let him just run straight ahead, seems like the hole's always there because he's so patient or he moves in slow motion. One of the two. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. That's what I want to see from now on. And I think that we're going to get that now on from the Sooners, which I'm excited about. Drizzy, young Drizzy. Another stat for my folks on Locked On Sooners podcast. 25 receptions, 202, 4 touchdowns in the first 5 games of the season. Since then, he has 37 catches for 489 yards and 5 touchdowns. Keep this in mind as well. He's the first wide receiver to get 50 catches in a season since 2019. Young Drizzy was out there. Drake was in. He was in his bag on his route running. There were some moments where you could saw some miscommunications, and this is my favorite thing about how this team is built now. And we'll talk about this a lot on defense too. But when those miscommunications came down, DG would bark at him. When it looked like it was on DG, the receivers would bark at DG. They were barking at each other. But you can tell it was more of a tighten this thing up. Let's do it. We can do this. It was less disrespectful, more of, hey, man, it's on you. Tighten it up. Let's tweak it here. We'll be good. You can see the communication with this team, and I flipping love it. They played like they're supposed to as a team. You can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. Next nugget. Nick, 6. Almost got 6 on that 63-yarder. Man, he just ain't got the speed right now. But it's okay. We played more Jay Gibson with him, and Gibson got that tutty. But Nick, you bounce back. 4 catches, 119 yards. What we need. We need to be hitting you across the middle more often like we did. DG almost threw a pick on one of those passes, but I saw why after the rewatch. I rewatched it at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And I saw that there was a safety there, and he was trying to keep from throwing it in front of that safety and either A, getting Nick leveled or B, getting it picked. Even though he threw it behind Nick and it still almost got picked. I still give props to DG for recognizing that I don't get my wide receiver killed. But the more passes we do across the middle like that, the better for him, Farouk, as well as Jaden Gibson. The immediate game is there, baby. And it's beautiful because the concepts that Lebby have in some of his routes, you'll hear people say they love it because I do too. The crazy part is that whenever we actually use said concepts, guess what happens? No, guess. What y'all think's going to actually happen? People get wide open. When we stop getting cute, man, I could see Jeff Lebby's eyes from my couch in his desperation to want to throw a jet sweep. But he knew it made no sense. Because West Virginia's secondary is not horrible. They've got 2 players on there. I say Bishop. He's like the top in like pass defended and all that in the Big 12. He's one of the top players in the country, and he's expected to play on Sundays. We were in his butt. We were all up in him. We were with them receivers, man. They was trying their hardest. So taking advantage of that is key. Then we recognize when it was time to bring Farouk back. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But before that, Austin Stogner, welcome home, my man. 4 catches. What's that? 69 yards and a tutty. Man, that's beautiful. Austin Stogner looked good. He was blocking good too this game. It looked like everything. He was more spry. Now, we saw a little Blake. We saw a little Faneuil. Faneuil got called for that holding, which was some BS. But at the same time, I get it. He's young. He's still learning. But we tighten up that tight end room, bruh. Because he's wide open across the middle most of the time. And that's where we need to run more plays towards for him. I don't know why we're slowly on that. We need to do that. So, last nugget on this, though. The offense came out there 644 yards. Hey, let me tell y'all this though. This is the most yards we put out since the Arkansas State game. And I usually take the Arkansas State game out of any stats that I talk about for this team, but I put it right back. Why? Because we finally recreated it. We finally recreated what we did against Arkansas State. Dog, 8 for 14 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth, 644 yards. We were out there cooking 11 yards per pass. We were on it. 5 yards a carry. My expectation, we better do it for the next 2 games. We got BYU and TCU. We better do it for the next 2 games. Point blank, period. All right, let's dive into the defense. You know where we got to start on defense, right? First thing we start on defense is that goal line stand. Another goal line stand. See, this is the reason why y'all not going to get me to sink down low and be uninterested in this team like some of you are, or upset about the way they're playing. You're not going to get me to sink that low with y'all. Why? Because the defense is doing some special stuff. And the best part, we're playing a whole bunch of young dudes. We're playing a lot of the young players. You saw Kip Lewis start in this game. You saw a lot of Kobe McKenzie in there. And even Jared Kennedy came in at the end, started cleaning up and showing that he should be out there playing on a regular basis. But getting our general back with Danny Stutsman, we went out there and got another goal line, another one. We're doing it. Man, the defense is going to be stupid next year because we get so many players back. So many key players back. The key contributors are coming back next year. Like, I love everything Woody Washington's doing. We got to play Makari Vickers out there. He's looking solid. Then he gets hurt. I'm hoping he's okay. We'll find out soon on him. But Kanai, even with his struggles, was out there fighting. Because he knew they were going to target him because they're not throwing it to Woody no more. They're trying not to throw it to Woody no more. Except for when they can try to get him for a pass interference when the refs, decide that they just want to throw random flags. But I digress. This defense is out there. And so Kip Lewis goes out there and be a star. Him and Danny Stutsman. Kip comes out. Danny had what was that? 8 tackles total, 3 solos. Kip had 7 with 2 solos. They were everywhere. We finished this game with 8 tackles for the loss, 6 passes defended. We balled out defensively, man. This is what we've been needing out of this team because this is one of those things that we've talked about a lot. This defense was out there putting in work. Now, the one thing I don't like within my Nuggets in this Dagwood sandwich, I have to sandwich in between good stuff is we love to start the games off slow. But I'll say this, though. We adjust like a mug. Hey, man, we adjust on sight, which is the only thing I appreciate about what we're doing as a staff. We are really good at adjusting, and I appreciate that from this team. I appreciate this from this staff. I appreciate it overall. You can tell when they adjust. We adjusted well in this game. Now, something that we do very bad on is that if we get a dumb penalty called against us, we fall apart. And let me explain what I mean by that. When we were out there for the on that deep pass, we got pass interference on that was stupid. Shouldn't been called for. We gave up a tutty. We did that twice. For one, Kanai gave up that deep play, unfortunately, but luckily we was able to stop on the 4 down stance. Next time they come down, we get called for dumb penalties that, honestly, they're BS penalties. We know they're BS penalties. And we understand that they're BS penalties. Pass interference on Kanai was dumb. That was basically the same thing they should have called for Drake Stoops. They didn't call that against Oklahoma State. Why? Because we was in Stillwater, but I digress. We didn't get no home cooking on that one, and that led to them getting a touchdown. It happens. That was that's what happens. Then you had the one on Woody, and you're still looking like, what? That was a PI. Called it. And we fall apart at that point. It's like we get down on ourselves on the penalty because we know that we have to fight the refs and the opponent. And if we're on the road, we got to fight the crowd too. It happens. But the good thing is we got past it. And we went out there and we just told them, no, you can't go. After the first touchdown, we told them no. Now we got to stop muffing punts. Gavin Freeman, love you, kid. You got to stop muffing them, man. You got to stop looking at your teammates. You got to stop anticipating hits. You got to just catch that bad boy. You got to throw your fair catch up. Yeah. But the good thing is We went out there, forced a punt. They missed that field goal because the ball don't lie. We got them on downs, punt, downs, and then we go 2 touchdowns. And then from there, we just turned on the defense in the second half, which I love that we always do in the second half. We just turn the defense on. We just turn that bad boy on. We just turn on. We just turn on. Good job, guys. Great job. Second half, we gave up a touchdown, which we've only given up 1 touchdown in the third quarter of the season against Kansas. Now we give up 2. Kansas and West Virginia are only 2 teams that have scored on us in the third quarter because our adjustments are stupid. Now, let's talk about those adjustments. This is a nugget that I loved. At the 9-minute and 30-second mark in the third quarter was the last time that Garrett Green completed a pass in the rest of the game. Listen to me when I say this. 9 minutes, 30-something seconds left in the game. Last time that Garrett Green completed a pass. Now it's that touchdown. 9:28 to beat it. Now, yeah, that was it. That was it. Touchdown. That was the last one. About 9:30, roughly. Ain't that crazy that we didn't allow him to, because that was his 10th completion of the game. That was number 10 for him. He finished the game 10 for 27, 154. Now, granted, he's an okay quarterback. He's winning them games. He got him 6-4. But the crazy part about this one to me is that we did not let him eat us up on the ground. We gave up 79 yards to Donaldson because Donaldson's a pretty solid running back. But that was really it. We didn't let Green eat us alive in the run game like he did last year. That's growth. That's something that I'm so proud of us for doing. And then, like I said, we had a long list of players coming in. Kendall Doby, man. Shout out to my boy Reggie Pierce to get the pick. Reggie came back in there and showed out. We played a lot of Robert Spears Jennings with him. We played a lot of R. Mason Thomas. We played a lot of young players. Samuel Mosigo got some PT. Like I said, we saw some young players. G-Baby went out there and did his thing. Grayson Halton went out there, got that tackle for the loss. I thought that he got a sack, but whatever. We won't call that. I thought Kanik got the sack, but that wasn't a sack. That was considered a tackle for the loss, which is a little disappointed. But I say this, though. This defense is building, man. And it's so many young players. Most of these players are going to be back next year, right? All the ones that are starting to show out now, the ones that are starting to come out of nowhere, Jacoby Johnson with that beautiful interception. You're starting to see some PT out of, like I said, Makari Vickers. We're getting game out of, which I hope he's okay. Kendall Doby will be back. You got Kip. You got Kobe McKenzie. And this is where I talked about earlier about them barking at each other. Kobe McKenzie was barking at someone on defensive tackle, one of the tackles. I can't think who it was. We ended up calling timeout because of it. He was telling him where to go. He wasn't in the right spot. He kept moving his butt. He got up, got mad, put his helmet in his face. He put his helmet back in his face. He's basically telling him, get in your right spot. We called this timeout because y'all wasn't ready. I love that. I love that it's become a team collaboration. It's become a team effort. And everybody is taking accountability, especially our linebacker room. Because that's one of our youngest rooms on the team. Secondary is young too, but our linebackers are really young. Secondary at least got Bowman and Woody Washington out there, and Kanai's played some games. Key Lawrence has played. Linebackers, it's really Stutsman. That's it. So the other guys are getting that much needed play. And man, Kip, Kobe, Kanik, he's good. No, Kanik's gonna be better next season. I promise you. He's like Stutsman was last year. He's gonna be better. Stutsman, they're all showing that they're floor generals. Kip's going to probably be the biggest floor general of them all, even at his size. I mean, Crow, because of how good he is. So, yeah. Shout out to the team. Hop in the comments. Let me know what's your thoughts. Told you I was going to be excited about this game. And guess what? We came out there in full force. We should see this the rest of the season. If you made it this far, you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Join the family. We're going to get back to expanding into more games. We'll probably record some stuff, and we'll do a live video on probably Wednesday. I'm getting back. Head coach starting to go away. But we'll go live tonight as well. So look out for that. And let me get my butt out of here. I gotta be somewhere. We'll talk soon. Peace.